Welcome back. I'm Joe. This is Elizabeth, my Keeway Superlight 200. I was asked to do a review on my bike and what to look out for so you don't end up with a lemon like mine and have to put the time and money into it to make a lemon in the lemonade. But she is pretty sweet. All right, I'm going to start off with saying I love this bike. She's a great ride, has awesome balance, pretty good speed for what it is, good get up and go, easy to handle. I mean, my daughter weighs 100 pounds and she can handle this bike very easily. So if she can handle it at 100 pounds, anyone can ride this bike. Now, saying that, let's get into some of the things to look out for. The first thing to look out for is the front fork seals. They go bad. If you see wetness on the fender and it's dry out, or you see oil build up with grease on your fork, you know your seals are bad like mine. And the seals themselves are cheap, but the time and effort to put it on is about a day and a half. And if you can't do it, you got to pay a mechanic to do it. So you got to add that in. Second thing to look out for, chain and sprocket. My chain was stretched to the max and my sprocket was down to nubs, but I knew it was a cheap, easy fix. It wasn't bad. I would say check out your rims. Make sure your rims are straight. Make sure they're not dented or chipped or anything, because that will affect how you go down the road. And if your rims and tires look good, all right. Go over your fenders. These fenders on the Keeway Superlight 200 are plastic, so they get cracks in them like mine. I didn't care because I bought it to make it a piece of art, so I knew it had cracks in it. Your shift lever is going to be the next thing you want to check out. Make sure it ain't got too much play and this thing here ain't spinning or wobbling too much. Because if it's anything like the original one I bought, it was bad. I had to buy a brand new one. Check your throttle cable. Make sure it's good. Make sure your brakes work. And make sure your clutch works. And for your clutch, you'll pull this lever and come over here. Make sure it's working. Make sure you check the oil. And if there's any oil leaks, I'd be very wary of buying the bike. Your exhaust, go over it. Make sure there's no holes or leaks. Same with the manifold for the exhaust. Make sure it's mounted correctly and good. Make sure no smoke comes out of the engine. Check your spark plug. Make sure it's clean. You can take it completely out and check everything. Check your plugs and wires. Another thing to check out is your carburetor. If you've got the original flip switch carburetor, it's garbage. Get rid of it. You need to get this carburetor. The original one, I'd have to flip it on choke to start the bike. This one, I just fire it up kind of like fuel injection. The power I gang, it's insane. This carburetor is amazing. Before I could barely get through traffic, it was like a slug. Now, if I want to get up and go, it gets up and goes. For a 200, she does really well with this carburetor on it. I'll put a link in the description below where I got it and who I got it from. I'm here in Thailand, so I got it in under a week. But I highly recommend this carburetor on every Keeway Superlight 200. All right, back to the bike. Make sure your shocks are good. If your shocks are bad, you're going to have to replace them. They're a pretty easy replacement. Check out your lights and turn signals and all that. And if they're not working right, you know, it could be a bulb. But if it's not a bulb, it's your wiring. And if it's your wiring, you're going to have to do what I did. I did a lot of rewiring, but there was just some time and some effort. Me personally, I love working on stuff, so this bike was perfect for me. For someone that don't know how or don't want to, I would highly suggest just to get a brand new one, because if it has over 28,845 kilometers, I guarantee you're putting money in it. If you get like 13,000 kilometers and under, you're probably not going to have to put much money into it. Me, I don't care about paint jobs because I'm going to paint it my own color, but be wary of a secondhand paint job, because when I started standing, I started finding dents all over this tank I never knew was here that was filled in with body putty. But I don't care. If you want something perfect, you might care. Would I say for people to buy this bike? Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely an awesome bike for a beginner, and a nice bike for just cruising around Thailand because the speed limit's not real high and it's pretty flat where I live here in Sat the Heat. This bike I would not own in America because where I live is in Pittsburgh and there's too many mountains. But I would love to take this bike home to America with me just to have it in my living room and keep around. But for everyone out there looking for a Keeway Superlight 200, don't be too scared because if you don't mind putting the money and the work into it, you're going to have a beautiful ride. And if you just get a brand new one, you're going to get a beautiful ride. These bikes are awesome. Like, subscribe. See you next time.